What is the origin of the martial arts? This is a question that seems to be constantly circulating and has been for forever. You know, I like the story with Bodhidharma or Dhammo going to Shaolin Temple and introducing Zen and introducing like Qigong and animal style Kung Fu as ways to invigorate the unhealthy monks, and so that they could practice their spiritual practice better by being healthy of body. You know, I like that story. A lot of people don't agree with that story, you know, especially like the scholars and stuff, but even like a lot of lay people have learned to regurgitate this this other story about, you know, how martial art is really about military, and those fighting styles and techniques and stuff were being practiced way before Shaolin, and it's connected with military. And maybe it's, you know, maybe it's connected with Greek military, who introduced it to India, you know, who introduced it to China, blah blah blah. And that martial arts is always, you know, it's always about the fighting thing, and it's about military. That's the word martial. To me, I don't like that story because I hate the military. I was in the military and I hate it. I hate the military, and I'll tell you what they do in the military. If that's what martial arts is, I want nothing to do with martial arts, because, you know, in the military where I was in the U.S. Army, the actual training of the human body to go hand-to-hand combat and stuff was just, it was absolutely pitiful. I mean, we did like pugil stick fighting and stuff, and we did hand-to-hand training, but like it was nothing like I've ever done outside of the military in martial arts. So, and it sure didn't make anybody good fighters. It was more just like, really, I saw the exercises that we did more as like character building of the soldiers, so that they would have some confidence, but it's confidence without much ability. You know, to me, that fighting thing of martial art is like the smallest little bit of it, and the real thing is good, is health and well-being and such. And to me, all that dynamic possibility, that range of human motion, should be explored. And Shaolin Kung Fu does that. Those animal style Kung Fus do that. The Qigong, you know, explores the muscles in ways that none of that other stuff does. So I like this story of Bodhidharma. But, you know, we were discussing this with, I was talking with Sihing Shunyuan and Sifu Freddie Lee last weekend, and you know, we came up with I think what we pretty much came to agreement that it doesn't matter where it came from, because, you know, right now we're not back then. Right now that it's totally changed, and it's all over the place, and it's everywhere, and it's more productive to be focusing our concerns on things that are going on right now than worrying about this historical thing that we just don't know, right? And I agree with that. But then earlier this week, after having had that conversation, I came across this video, this Japanese video on YouTube, where there's this bear, and he's spinning a stick, much like, you know, much like somebody might do with a bow staff, I think the video is called Kung Fu Bear or something like that, and it hit me, and I should have thought about it before because it's not a new idea to me or anything, but I wish I would have thought about it when we were talking. Not only does it not matter like which country and such introduce martial arts, or whether it's from the priesthood, or whether it's from the military, none of that really matters, because in reality, in the real truth, martial arts is a timeless thing, and it's been in us forever, since we were first human, and even before. It's in all of the other animals. You can see it. It's inside of us, and you know, certainly if you watch the animals, you'll see them practicing their own martial arts. And they're far better at it for the most part than we are. I think like every bird in this forest, for instance, practices predator evasion every single day, and they're really good at it, and they're massively aware of everything that's going on in their environment in a way that just makes us, you know, humans look really pitiful. Like my awareness, I like to consider myself to be pretty well aware out here because I've spent so much time out here, and I'm always trying to learn all the nuances of the things that are going out here. But even me, I'm not nearly as aware as a magpie, for instance. Nor am I able to move through this environment in a really graceful manner. When I encounter a deer, for instance, the deer, poof, it's hopping through the forest like nothing, and it's almost soundless. It's almost without sound. How does an animal that's as big as me leap through the forest like that with not making a sound? When I even try to walk through the forest carefully, I'm like crunching things and making all kind of sound that you can hear from way far away. It's ridiculous. You know, I run into a rabbit, same thing, scurries away like nothing. You know, why is it that that we don't have this? Well, it's because we fail to, I think, to unlock our potential. And that potential is already in us to have that kind of martial arts, to have that kind of lifestyle where we can move in all the ways that we're supposed to be able to move. I think a lot of it has to do with ways that we've restrained ourselves, technologically and otherwise. I think we have psychological constraints on ourselves. I think we've got lots of technological constraints on ourselves, even like starting from clothing. I just did another video on the foot and the shoe. You know, we wear shoes and they're super constricted. We wear pants, jeans that are like skin tight, very, very restrictive. You know, we don't design our clothes with the idea of movement, except in some sports. But we should have clothes for every kind of condition, every kind of environment, that are made with that kind of movement and natural movement. And having our feet not be like constrained in casts that are shoes, that kind of a thing. So we restrain ourselves that way. We constrain ourselves in our architecture, in how we're allowed to use that architecture. We don't build things with the idea of promoting our own movement development. We don't build things like that. We have technologies like like contact lenses that are making the future generations more and more blind. You know, this is like a short-term fix for right now for me to wear contact lenses, but you know, my babies are gonna have that same eye problem, if not worse, and on it goes until human beings are blind. You know, we constrain ourselves in all kinds of ways sexually. We got all kinds of rules set up for what we're allowed to do with whom and how. We got all kinds of rules set up for, you know, certainly in terms of our movement, where we're allowed to do this and how and what have you. I don't know, it's just crazy the way that we're, you know, hindering ourselves, even our whole lifestyle, even this whole thing that we built up with jobs and offices and sitting around and looking at computers and monitors and, you know, and having chairs and sofas. Why do we need those chairs and sofas for? They just make our asses bigger, and they just let our muscles go to waste. I mean, really, the whole lifestyle that has been built up culturally, that has become the global culture, is to constrain the true human being. And I think purposefully in its initiative was to do that, was to constrain the full human being, because it went around the world and it tried to conquer the beings that live in their actual potential, the indigenous peoples, who were healthy, who ate healthy, who were able to survive off of the natural abundance of their place, who were able to move through that place with some grace, who had strong bodies. You know, the system was designed to conquer them and restrain them and tame them. And basically we've tamed ourselves into being, you know, these unhealthy like cows. I don't know. But I just kind of went off on a tangent. But my whole point is that the origin of martial arts, the martial arts is timeless. There is no origin. It's inside of us. It's a potential. We just have to unleash it. We just have to unlock that potential. That's what it's about. That's what the project is. The lifelong project of the martial arts is to unlock that potential. That's, I guess, what I have to say about that.